Did you know that a single gallon of gasoline packs the energy equivalent of 31,536,000 calories? That's enough to power a human for over 43 years. It's a mind-boggling amount of energy contained within a liquid we use every day. This remarkable substance fuels our cars, powers our machinery, and is a cornerstone of modern life. So how does this powerful energy source come to be? Let's dive into the fascinating process of making gasoline. Gasoline begins its life as crude oil, a complex mixture of hydrocarbons buried deep within the earth. It's a black, sticky substance that, believe it or not, holds the power to fuel our lives. Step 1 in our journey from crude oil to gasoline is extraction. Crude oil reserves are usually found thousands of feet below the Earth's surface. Using advanced drilling techniques, we tap into these reserves and pump the oil to the surface. It's a tricky business requiring a combination of geology, engineering, and a dash of luck. Once the crude oil is extracted, it needs to get to the refineries. This is where our second step, transportation, comes in. Crude oil is moved in massive quantities, often across vast distances, using a network of pipelines, tankers, and trucks. It's a logistical ballet, choreographed to ensure a steady flow of oil to the refineries. Arriving at the refinery, we come to step 3, distillation. Crude oil enters a distillation column, a towering structure that uses heat to separate the oil into various fractions based on their boiling points. Picture a tall, narrow tower filled with layers of trays. As the crude oil heats up, it rises, separating into different layers as it cools. The lighter fractions rise to the top and the heavier ones sink to the bottom. These fractions are the building blocks of a variety of petroleum products. Lighter fractions can be used to make products like gasoline and jet fuel, while the heavier fractions are used for diesel fuel and heating oil. Each fraction has its own unique composition and uses, making this step critical in the production process. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, we've got these fractions, now what? Good question. You see, these fractions are still not the gasoline we use in our cars. They're a step closer, but there's still work to be done. But how do we go from these fractions to the gasoline you put in your car? The answer lies in refining. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this fascinating process in the next scene. The refining process is where the magic happens. It's here that the different fractions of crude oil transform into gasoline. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty. Imagine crude oil as a complex puzzle, and the refining process is how we solve it. It involves cracking, reforming, and blending. These aren't just fancy words, but crucial steps in making gasoline. Cracking is the first step. It's like breaking a chocolate bar into smaller pieces. We apply heat and pressure to break down the larger hydrocarbon molecules in the crude oil into smaller ones. This process gives us a variety of hydrocarbons, some of which are ideal for gasoline. Next up is reforming. Just like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, the smaller hydrocarbon molecules undergo a metamorphosis of sorts. They are heated and combined in different ways to form the specific molecules that make up gasoline. Finally, we have blending. This is where we mix and match the reformed molecules to create the perfect blend of gasoline. It's like creating a unique cocktail, each with its own specific recipe. This blend determines the gasoline's octane rating, which is a measure of how well it can resist knocking or pinging in an engine. After refining, the gasoline is almost ready to hit the road, but first, it needs a bit of fine-tuning. The final steps in gasoline production involve treating the gasoline to remove impurities and add necessary additives. This crucial phase is termed as quality control. Here, the gasoline is treated with various chemicals to remove any remaining impurities and sulfur compounds that can harm your engine or the environment. It's also the stage where additives are introduced. These additives enhance gasoline's performance, increasing its octane rating, reducing emissions, and helping your engine run smoother and cleaner. Once the gasoline passes the quality control, it's time for distribution. Large pipelines, tanker trucks, and even trains are used to transport the gasoline from refineries to storage terminals near your local gas stations. From there, smaller tanker trucks deliver the gasoline to your local station's underground storage tanks. So the next time you fill up your tank, remember the complex journey that gasoline took to get there. It's a fascinating process, one that starts with crude oil and ends with the fuel that powers our daily lives.